In this video, I'll be discussing the third book in the Percy Jackson series, The Titan's Curse. And getting coronavirus, apparently. So yeah, this book, it's kind of interesting. If we're going with a quick spoiler-free review, this book starts off kind of weak. I wasn't a big fan of the way it started. And then it kind of got better and better and better towards... And by the time we got to the end, I was really enjoying it. And I think if we were to sort of like... so basically, the rest of this video is going to be just me discussing why I think that is, why it starts... or not why, but like also how, just discussing like why it starts weak, I think, and then it gets better and better. So I think the reason is that we start with a bunch of characters we don't really know. So we start with Thalia, who we've not really met properly before, and the Hunters, and Artemis, and Zoe, and we don't know any of these people, and so for me it was a bit difficult to relate and enjoy. But then over the course of the series, we get to know them, over the course of a book, we get to know them better and better, and by the time we come to the end, we actually know them well, and we're rooting for them, and their struggles are kind of real to us, like when Thalia is deciding whether to become a hunter or not, and whether she wants to betray Olympus or not. You know, we start to relate to these struggles a bit more, and so I think that was good. And I also think that the action set piece at the end was really cool. I really enjoyed seeing Atlas in his, in form, so that was really cool. And yeah, I just thought that this book sort of finished really, really strong, and I enjoyed Percy Jackson going to the Council of the Gods and seeing seeing the squad, because we haven't really seen all the gods together and how they interact. And I enjoyed, we had a little bit of Dionysus, like being helpful here for once and being like actually nice, which I thought was a bit of an interesting sort of nuance to his character, because so far he's just been a bit of a dick in the series. And I also like the slight subversion. You know, it's like, what is this terrible monster? But it's just this random sea cow, so that was cool. So yeah, all the pros are still here that I've discussed in the previous two videos. The mythology is still really cool. It was really cool seeing Atlas. I really enjoyed seeing Artemis doing her thing, and the Hunters. The characters are still good. Annabeth and Percy and stuff is still really funny. And Annabeth we get a bit at the end. And the comedy, like I said, is still there, so that's all good. And then the same sort of criticisms are still there, where we have a lot of the, sort of plot conveniences. Like, for example, at the end, Annabeth's dad just comes and shoots up all the monsters, and it's like, well, why didn't... if you can just shoot monsters, why are we using swords at all? So that I thought was a bit a bit silly. And the same thing when Dionysus helps him, whilst it was still a cool scene for his character, it didn't really make a lot of sense, because if gods can just randomly help you, and why are the gods being so useless? Isn't this their fate on the line? So yes, those same sort of criticisms. And then there's just this running problem I have with this whole series where the communication is really, like, poor, where it's like, no time to tell you, I must tell you later. Oh, don't worry about it, I'll tell you some other time. Oh, I'm going to say something, but I'm not going to say it now. And it's just this sort of thing, which happens over and over again in the series, and it can get a little bit frustrating, because you're like, why don't people just talk to each other? And you could say that was their child characters maybe not very good at communicating, but then even our adult and even god characters have the same sort of flaw, so we don't really, there's not really too much of an excuse for it, so that is a little bit obnoxious. I also enjoyed the setting of this, the story, we go around the States, we end up in San Francisco, we start in New York, and I kind of like my big boy Blackjack, the Pegasus. It was fun seeing him, and yeah, I did really enjoy this book, and I think that towards the end, I feel like now that I'm remembering more and more, I feel like Percy Jackson picks up towards the end. I think there's a little bit of a lull in the middle with this book. I'd say that this book is kind of the lull in the action, and we come back up again, I think. And that's not to say it's a bad book or anything, but I just felt that this is, even though I enjoyed it, I say this is probably the weakest one so far. And I think it's probably the weakest of the whole series, because I remember the next two being really good, so I'm really looking forward to them. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I still recommend this book, and it's part of your Percy Jackson journey, so enjoy it. And yeah, I also enjoyed just a little bit of character development for Percy's mum, her getting a boyfriend and stuff, and Percy being okay with it and all that. So yeah, I thought that was quite cool. But yeah, so thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.